It's pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic when you look at it. And what's more pathetic is what we started to talk about the last couple of weeks. The volume, okay, is horrific. We're not even going to make 1 million contracts today in the S&P. Okay. So, look, what can I tell you? This is exactly what I described we would potentially expect, which is that the institutions are carrying the bulls a little bit, the retail traders, just waiting to clobber them. And I compared it to this chart here, which is what I expect. Okay. This is what I expect. What's up? Thank you. Thank you very much. Warner and Melody, my friends. You always make my birthday special. I appreciate it. Okay. So again, this is what I expect. This is the expectation that I have. Now, again, we're still partially long, but I'm sure by tomorrow we won't be. Overall, this market is pathetic, which tells you that there's very little institutional trading going on and a heck of a lot more of the retail variety. Okay. Retail is never right overall. Okay. Retail always makes the worst decision at the worst time if they try to trade. If they just invest, they're fine. But we know that other than those that hedge have troubles dealing in this world of crazy markets and the crazy world in which we live in, right? So, but again, just look at the volumes are pathetic everywhere. It's not just in equities. Okay. The volumes are pathetic in grains as well. I mean, there is a lack of interest right now in the overall market, which kind of ties into things we talked about in the past. Was it a flood of money supply, or is it ABC? I mean, listen, I'm not going to look for a reason. I'm going to watch the price action, and which is what we always do. Okay. We're not interested in anything else but what the market dictates to us. Okay. And right now, the markets are dictating what? They're dictating that there's no action, but whatever action comes in is typically working its way lower, not thrashing lower, which is a good sign. Okay. Again, remember, it's a good sign that markets aren't thrashing lower because, again, it doesn't give us the same opportunity to participate. Okay. If they're getting creamed at the beginning, well, it's harder for us to get in. So it's much better that it works its way lower and triggers versus, and the probability of a longer term trend also now exists. Okay. Which is, again, what we really care about, because the only way you make real money in this market is to get a long, sustained trend. Okay. And without it is why we struggle. Okay. Whenever we chop around in nowhere is where we struggle. Now, again, I'm not saying tomorrow's the day that we're going to continue this. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pop tomorrow. But again, I think you're in the sell the rally mode. Okay, I think that goes without saying. I think you want to continue to, obviously defend your capital is always the number one thing to do. Okay, but this looks like a pathetic, sick market, and what has to happen, right? What is one thing that's going to happen almost guaranteed? Okay, anybody want to chip in? What is almost guaranteed to happen? I don't know. I start whenever I feel like it. I start when the room gets pretty full. Everybody knows that I come in early anyway, so it gets earlier and earlier. Pretty soon it'll be 24 hours. Big rallies up, okay. But I'm looking for a specific, I don't know, how do I describe this? I'm looking for a specific thing that may have an effect on the markets is something that's got to be done because this administration is too dumb to take care of it on the other side. Okay. What can I tell you? I think it is scheduled for 3:30 or 4:30 Eastern time. Okay. So I don't know. What can I don't know. I get earlier and earlier. I like to, I got a big mouth. I want to talk. I actually got a cracked tooth. I don't really want to talk so much today, but I'm going to the dentist right after this. I didn't even have a dentist. I had to find one. 25 hours with Bubba. Yeah, you type like I do. Beeson, that's me. Anyways, the Fed's going to raise rates. They have to. They cannot. Well, the rip your face off rallies will come, but the Fed has to raise rates. Okay, they're going to raise them, and you can bet on it. I mean, first of all, the Fed funds are telling you that, but they're just the only way. Either you start pumping oil in excess, okay, and take care of the sanctions in Russia, take care of everything, because that's the only way you're going to stop Russia, okay, or you raise rates, okay. Now, obviously, this imbecile in the White House is not going to drill, okay. They've made up their mind. They're holding a firm stance. They've had every opportunity to say, you know what, it would be smarter if we went back to drilling oil, okay. Like the climate change is real if you believe in it, okay. I mean, I don't, but if you do, okay. But at what cost, as I ask you every week, do you want to make sure that you already have the cleanest climate in the world right here in the United States of America, okay. So at what cost do you want to continue to keep this up? You're trying to sanction Russia. You can't, because again, they've got control of some great natural resources, which we could hurt them on. Okay, we could pump in excess, okay, and of course bring the price back down to $35 a barrel. Then where is Russia? Okay, if you're at $35 a barrel, where is Russia then? Okay, if you start liquefying natural gas and start selling it back to the UK and Germany, where's Russia? Okay, so this is the issue. So now we're on to the Fed, right? And the Fed has got to raise rates, and it's going to be quicker than you think, because mortgage rates are already over 5%. Okay, and they're going up rapidly now. Housing prices are starting to fall. Okay, only because the housing market is a mirage anyways, right? Because housing is dependent on two things. How much is it by the month? What's the interest rate? Okay. So all of a sudden, at 3%, a house that was $500,000 is affordable to some, but now at 5%, that $500,000 is worth probably what, $450,000. Okay, so suddenly the dynamics change. Okay, and all of a sudden we don't have this big demand for housing. Didn't we see this movie in 2008? Okay, is this a new movie? Okay, is it going to have a different ending? I don't think so. Okay, it could. I don't think so. I think that, look, I think we've been en route to a major beatdown anyways. And the overwhelming consolidation in markets for such a long period of time is another problem that has really kept us, kind of under wraps and hurt us personally. Okay, because of how we trade. But that's all part of the business. I can't worry about that, but because I know that it eventually will trend in one direction or the other. And I'm telling you, I believe. Now, I don't have any facts. What's up? Okay, I don't have any facts. This is just strictly an opinion. I think we're going much lower. Okay, as I've said before, I do believe there's a 50 to 60% haircut in the wings. Now, again, it doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow. It doesn't mean it's going to start right away. But I think what you're going to see, I believe, is a long, extended downtrend, which will then create the rip your face off rallies that come. I don't believe, everybody always points to 87 and 01 and 08 like they were disasters. Well, they were, but they didn't go down in one day. Okay, those were long-term sell-offs that started that, as always, retail continues to think, oh, well, this is finally my chance. We bought the dip every single time and they've gone right back up. Okay. And now, let me buy the dip. US is becoming China of 40 years ago. We'll have a shortage of food while riding bicycles instead of our nice cars to save the planet. I don't know about the shortage in food. Food will be very expensive. Okay. I don't think we'll have a shortage. I think the rest of the world will have a shortage. Certainly, the poorer countries will have a dramatic shortage. Okay. And there will be riots. There will be wars that'll break out over this. Okay. I don't think it'll be here. Okay. Now, again, I could be wrong there too, but I do believe because we are one of the biggest suppliers in the world that we will be able to take care of ours. Now, again, I'm not telling you what the cost is going to be. Okay. You might be forced to ride a bicycle because of the, well, you're in a good state now. I know the state you were used to be in, gas is like $7-8. Okay. You're in Utah now, I think. Is that right? Okay. Or Idaho, one of those two. Anyways, but everybody thinks these moves come in 5 minutes. They don't come in 5 minutes. They're long in tooth when they start. Okay. They've given you enough signals to Idaho. Okay. Well, those. My son will be there June 1st, June 2nd. He's going there for a wedding. In the meantime, they start, and you can kind of see here, like I said, this miserable. This kills us when it does this. Okay. We need it to extend either direction. We don't really care which direction. Okay. We just need it to extend one side or the other. And I believe that this time it will be lower. I think that you're going to see, I think institutions are sitting on the sidelines. I think that they're waiting and they're kind of selling every rally, but gently, because they don't want to create that overwhelming panic. They want to allow the retail trade to load up, okay, because it's become safe now, okay. The markets have now become safe because every dip is ever going to happen has been bought up, for the last, how many years now? 13. Right. So, at the end of the day, it takes retail a long time to get everybody back in. And once they get them all back in, guess what? You get cracked. Now, we've got so many other issues that show up here. One being interest rates are going higher, whether you like it or not. And all you gotta do is look at the bond market and remember that the Fed funds lending rate that they quote you all the time has nothing to do with the interest rates that you pay for a mortgage. Okay. Those are based on 10-year notes. And what are 10 years of today? I know they get the futures got clobbered. Where is the 10-year rate? Did it get 3% yet? Oh man, hold on one second. 10 years at 2.78. The yield curve has inverted. Okay. Short-term rates are much more expensive than long-term rates. Okay. That is what the inversion means. If you don't know, the natural course of interest rates should be like this. Okay. The cheapest should be in the bills. If you don't understand the fixed income market, it's bills, notes, bonds. Okay. They all fit into the same curve, but the 30-day bills, 6-month T-bills, things like that. But the curve should be like this. Okay. That should be the curve. Okay. Cheapest here. And as you go out, you pay more. Now the curve is either here or here. Okay. Depending on which ones you're looking at. Okay. The 10 and the 5 have already inverted. Okay. And the 2. Okay. Because you're paying more for short-term money, which is never good for the economy because a lot of the country exists on short-term money. Okay. A lot of the business is built on short-term money. Okay. So here we have all these things that are pointing. Now, again, it doesn't mean it's going to be immediate and it doesn't mean it's going to be dramatic yet. Remember, most of the dramatic sell-offs come at the end. Okay. They don't come in the beginning. I mean, the 2008 sell-off was started in early 2008, if not late 2007. The 87 crash started in, 6 months before. And if anybody would take the time to look the week before, just the week before, to see the pressure the markets are under would understand that these don't happen. You know, we're all such victims of the media. Okay. And oh my God, it's collapsing, because it's the last thing you hear versus understanding the overall view. The overall view is we're going down right now. Okay. That's the view. I mean, this is trending lower for sure. Okay. This is the same thing. It's breaking down to the downside out of consolidation. This is breaking down. Okay. And of course, this is now getting ready to break down. Okay. It's still the strongest, which is just another warning sign. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, even though it's meaningless and nobody uses it as a benchmark anymore, okay, is still, you know, it's still the I guess the symbol of markets, and still the safety of the financial markets is still one of the safer ones because of the 30 components that are put in there. Okay. And typically when the Dow is outperforming the S&P, markets are in a bear trend. When the S&P is outperforming, it is usually a bull trend. That is just a natural thing to look at. And if you look at the values, right now, the Dow is worth, one Dow future contract is worth 171,000, let's say 171. And one S&P contract mini is worth 220. Okay. So it's a spread of about 30, almost $49,000, right? 171 to 220. Okay. Now, if you go back to 2008, the Dow at the bottom, it was inverted, and the Dow was over the S&P by about $1,000. Okay. So this is really a stretched out market anyways. And when you view the overall look, again, it makes sense. Okay. It makes sense that we should be headed lower. And again, I don't ever make immediate predictions. I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. You know, it's almost impossible to time it perfectly. Okay. All you can do is wait until you get a trigger. Okay. And whatever you're using to confirm a potential trend, and then look for that trend to continue, which is, again, if you look back at some of our stuff, the reasons that many things have struggled is because we have not had a real trend anywhere, except for if you look at the stuff that we've done really well at: cotton, crude oil, you know, but overall bonds. I mean, so, but again, you have to have a trending market in today's world of trading. Trying to counter trend this trade or trying to, you know, get in and out is virtually impossible. Okay. There's just not enough movement in markets. What's up, brother? Well, maybe he's not here yet. I know he's here, but his microphone's not on yet. Okay.
He's here and he's having a rough day.
And his mic is now unmuted. What's up?
I'm doing all right. I had a major computer blow up this morning, which I know you know can be a nightmare. And oh my God, I had to download a different operating system. Oh, you don't want to know. Crazy. Yeah. I haven't even had time to really watch the markets. I mean, I've been watching them from the side of my eye, but the side of my eye keeps focusing in on this bond market, huh?
Well, didn't we say 136.16? Is that the number?
And you got it exactly right.
It only took me about 6 weeks to get it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's on an express train.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and again, I have said before you get here, I said that this is what I expect the Dow to do, the financials.
Yeah.
You know,
eventually, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I expect. I expect this action. And, you know, to me, now you were a commercial trader. Okay. But to me, this has all the makings and feeling that the institutions are kind of carrying retail right now and allowing them to buy in and not really flexing their muscles to sell them out yet. Okay.
Yeah, it feels that way. It does feel that way. But, you know, again, this inflation thing is a problem. And this is inflation like we've never experienced, really. Even in the 70s, I don't think we had this this kind of, a war in Europe and all of this stuff going on at the same time. This is kind of unprecedented. So it's hard to see the way the markets are reacting. I just see, the dollar index is soaring up at 100, but big deal. The dollar's losing value. We both know that, right?
Well, I mean, that's one of my headlines. You must be sneaking in again, but
I didn't.
the fiat fraud currencies, right?
They are frauds.
I know. We've said that for a year.
Market. The bottom line is that the stock market, it's not an easy call here because inflation just caused everything to go up, but they lose value while they're going up because they ain't going up as fast as the purchasing power is going down.
When is CPI? Tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be, I'll tell you this. I don't know when it is, but I know it's going to be ugly.
What's your take? What do you think?
I think if I had a guess, I would say between 8.5% and 9%.
Okay. And so if you multiply that by 3, you'd get the real number.
Right. 25% or so.
Just make sure we know we're on the same page. So I got a couple interesting emails I want to share with you because this is what we talk about all the time. But good morning, Mr. Horowitz. And by the way, you're here and you don't have to call me Mr. You can call me anything but. You can call me a lot of bad names. Mr. I don't answer to. Hope your day is going okay. Just an update up in South Dakota. Our local ethanol plant is currently running at 0.08 positive basis for April delivery corn. Positive basis day this summer too. They want inventory on hand. Know it's going higher and supplies are tight up here. We're going to make them pay later for our remaining bushels of corn we have on hand. A little smiley face. Looking forward to this strategy call later. What do you say? What do you think?
What do I think? I mean, I think that ethanol demand is going to go up because oil prices are going to eventually go up again, and corn prices. I see double-digit corn prices.
I agree.
I see $10 corn. I mean, all right, it was down 3 cents today. Big deal. Beans down 30, wheat up 30. These are volatile markets.
Right. There's no action there either in any of those markets, which is again.
Yeah.
The problem, when I do RFD on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I say the same thing. Look, what do you want me to tell you? The markets are going higher. There's no reason for me to believe that they're going lower here. Costs continue to rise. Okay. And, we're no reason to believe that anything else is going to happen. Okay. And I think that, you're going to see much higher prices. I think, and listen, and Mother Nature's doing us no favors now either.
No, South American weather was terrible. Our weather is not good. And I mean, the other thing that's really interesting, I mean, going away from the grains for a minute, to me, is that Putin is trying to tie the ruble to gold here, 5,000 rubles a gram. I mean, I think he's trying to tie the ruble with gold, except you can't cash it in for gold.
Right, unless you do it with them. But isn't it interesting that they're forcing, the EU and Germany to pay, if they want natural gas, they got to pay for it in rubles.
That's right. And that's aimed directly at the United States because now Saudis are selling China oil in yuan, so is Nigeria. And this is all to knock the dollar out of the reserve currency status.
Great. And this is because
war. This is economic war.
This is because we have a weak administration that refuses to do the right thing.
Right. And it's because we're supporting Ukraine.
Right. And if we just simply opened up the wells, opened up the natural gas, and became an exporter again, 95% of these problems would go away.
We would bury Putin and we would bury inflation.
Bingo. Okay.
Right. We would bury that's two burials with one stone.
Right.
Seriously.
So why can't they see that? Why is it so challenging for their economists, their imbecile attitudes of what they think is going to be right, and why can't they see that?
Because they probably are saying it to him, but he's more afraid of AOC and the Bernie and Elizabeth Warrens.
No,
I'm serious. With the elections coming up, that's who he's kowtowing to, and it's not him. It's Ron Klain and the people behind him.
well, right. We know it's not him because he has trouble reading the damn the teleprompter.
No, he's
I mean, he's worthless. He was always worthless, but now he's worthless with Alzheimer's.
he's useless.
Okay,
He's
so
useless, but you're right. I mean, pump the oil, pump the gas. Look at natural gas today. All right, oil's down $4, but is oil down? Yeah, oil's down. $4. Natural gas up 36.5 cents. This is the off season.
you know, I was on TV in Moscow last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they go, because that was when we declared that we're making Russia default, and I go, okay. I said, really, they can't make it a default as long as you control a few huge natural resources and you're demanding payment in rubles. You're not going to default. They can say whatever they want. They may not take your payment the way you want to pay it, but until they pump oil, until they bring oil back to $35 or $40 a barrel, they're not going to make Russia default. What do you think?
No, I don't think they are, and I think that Europe's going to cheat because they need the stuff.
Right? They got to eat. They want to eat. They want to have
the French election yesterday was a big win for Putin. Marine Le Pen is anti-NATO politician, and she could beat Macron.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
and the French, they want to make love, not war. They don't want to take on Putin. They don't.
I know. Listen,
the hotter this thing gets. Listen, I have a lot of respect for Boris Johnson in the UK. He went to Ukraine yesterday and walked through the streets with Zelensky. I mean, I thought that was pretty brave.
Yeah.
Listen, he did the thing he had to do. But today the Austrian premier went to Moscow to yell at Putin. He don't care, Putin.
What does he care? He lives in his own little world there.
Yeah.
Okay. And and the country that's loving this the best is who? China.
China.
Yeah.
Oh, staying neutral. They're Switzerland.
They're just hanging out, waiting to complete their 100-year plan. I don't know what year they're in, but they're just sitting back and everything's going to come their way.
Well, if they were let's put it this way. If they were in year 20 of the 100-year plan in December 2021, they are now in year 80.
Right. I agree. Do you have any bitches this week?
Do I have any? Yeah, I'm just. Oh, is today your birthday?
Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Do I have any bitches?
If you don't, it's okay.
My bitch is about the computer system.
I mean, I bitch never.
I with that for 7 hours.
Right?
I hate Apple.
I bitch enough for everybody, so it's okay. I'm a constant bitch.
I mean, these markets are scary, Bubba. They're very volatile and they're very thin. And that's.
I don't know. I don't see as much volatility as we talk here about, but I do know that they're very thin. And interestingly enough, we day trade in the morning for an hour, and we day trade at the busiest time of the day, which is around the opening, and we haven't had more than 2 trades a day in weeks. And we've been basically just hovering around break even.
When I'm talking about volatility, I'm saying I watch oil over the last month go from 130 down to 90, below 95. I see natural gas go from under $5 to up 660.
I understand.
I'm looking at bigger picture. I'm looking at beans and wheat diverging, and there are a lot of things.
No, I got it. No, again, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying that, when I look at volatility, I look at the equity market first.
Right.
So, Connie's here today, buddy, but thank you very much. And yes, I am an old horse, but I'm an old war horse. Okay. So, as you look and you say, well, what could make it better? Well, there's a lot of things that we could do better, but we choose not to, which is, again, a continuation of giving up our control, our power as the top power in the world. Okay, we are giving it up every moment of every day by our actions. Okay, now I don't know about you, but that bothers me as much as anything.
Yeah, okay. we are giving it up. I mean, we gave it up last year.
And he's got no bitch.
Energy,
He's pleasant today.
and my bitch is about my computer system. But we gave it up when in the last election. You know, we worked for decades, 4 decades, 5 decades for energy independence, and we gave it up in a week.
Yeah, well, we gave it up in November of of 20, right? January 21st of 21, we gave it up. That was the end of it.
Well, we actually gave it up, you know, the 3 months before when we voted. But,
Right. Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
you know, it's very sad to me. Very sad.
I mean,
And, value of money. It's all about the value of money and the dollar's reserve currency status just going out the window, you know?
yeah.
Roman
Well,
Empire. And by the way, you know, a lot of this other stuff that's going on, and you want me to start bitching, I'll start bitching. A lot of this other stuff that's going on, you know, is very, you know, the society now, the political society has embraced deviance. That's what it is to me. Just embrace deviance, and anything that used to be the norm is not the norm anymore.
No, well, I mean, this is, you know, this type of action has been coming, and how nobody, it's amazing how most Americans stand mute. Okay. I mean, are we the only ones who can see what's happening here?
It's very sad. I'm very, you know, I'm very upset about it. I really
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, you know, it's very upsetting because when you see the overall views of what we're seeing that we're giving up everything. Okay. And what are we getting in return for giving up everything? Nothing. Okay.
Well,
We're
right.
getting, go ahead.
Then internally, we're seeing insane policies, insane. Teaching 5-year-olds about, you know.
Would you quit looking into my notes? God dang it.
I don't. For
I'm
everyone
kidding.
out there, I don't.
I'm kidding. We didn't talk about it.
Teaching 5-year-olds about, you know, gender and all that kind of stuff, and you know, last week, the Palm Springs, you know, Palm Springs, California, not far from here. They decided that you know, they want to support transsexuals. So if you're a transsexual in Palm Springs, you get a $900 check every month for the rest of your life.
I guess I'll move to Palm Springs and become a transsexual.
I was just going to say, well, Julie and I, what we were going to do is, Julie's going to become a man.
Yeah,
I'll become a woman. We'll get $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this is insane. We have a war raging with people, thousands of people dying, and Putin is an animal. You know, he's an animal. What he's doing over there.
And naturally, he's an animal.
He's an animal. And
I
what
mean,
we're doing, we're arguing about critical race theory, which is invented in some Ivy League school, which is insane. And we're arguing about teaching a 5-year-old child, you know, that it's okay. You want to go in and put a dress on if you're a little
gender identity.
Right.
That's in New Jersey, but I'll get to that later.
This is a real problem.
Why are we doomed in 8 years, TD? Nothing matters. Why 8 years? Where do you come up with that number? Because the apocalypse of the climate control people or climate change people say we're doomed in 3 years.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, you know, are you kidding me? All of a sudden, okay, we are, you know, it's over in 3 years. The world is going to end in 3 years now. Now
it was 12, but now it's 3.
Right. Well,
Next week will be 2.
Maybe with the current administration, it will end. AO's version, 12 years is 4 years. I got you. Okay. Oh, God, kill me.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. But you're right. I try to forget about that crap that she speaks.
Yeah, there's a bar. Listen, the bartender from Queens. What can you do?
Right. Exactly. I mean,
I've always liked to chat with bartenders and found they have wisdom, but I guess she didn't make it as a bartender, so she took the next step down and went to Congress.
You know, at the end of the day, again, it's scary. Now, let's talk about the election for a minute, the upcoming impending election. Okay. Can it be stopped, the election?
What do you mean, can it be stopped?
Is there anything they can do to hold it back or to do something or to do anything to interfere with this election besides steal votes. But that's, again, that's always been part of the world.
No, I listen. The last time elections kind of took a back seat was during World War II. Roosevelt was elected 4 times. I mean, 4 times will put Biden at, he'll be 100 years old. I don't think Biden's going to run again. I don't.
No, he's not going to run again. Listen, as I said from the beginning, and I still believe this, he was put up as a loser to begin with. They put 2 pieces of crap together and said, okay, we're going to lose this election anyways. And, it was kind of like McCain and Palin, right? And it was just, they had to put somebody up. So why put up anybody worth anything? Not that they have anybody, not that anybody has anybody either. So either party.
Yeah, Giggles doesn't have a chance either in the next election. Someone else will come up.
But what I'm saying is that and then when it was so close enough, they figured out they could steal it. They had the plan. If it was close, they would steal it, and they did.
Right.
They've been, both parties have been fiddling around with elections forever. This time they just didn't. The other side did it better.
Right. That's exactly right. We're gonna see. There's gonna be a lot of Republicans who are gonna run. We're gonna see
Florida. I would like to see DeSantis run. Somebody wanted to see DeSantis and Nome, the governor from South Dakota. I could live with that.
You think Trump will run again?
I hope not, but I think he is. I like him. And listen, I
think they need younger, fresher blood.
I predicted that he would win in 15, a year before. Okay. However, I think that it's time for some new blood. Number one. Number two, if we can get some new blood, I would rather have them in for a potential of 8 years if they do a good job versus 4.
Right. Younger. We need.
Okay. Younger. And it's hard to get younger because listen, let's face it. Not many people, and certainly none of the real smart people and great people that you would love to see in office, okay, want to run for office.
No.
Okay. So you're putting yourself in a position. I'd like to say, that would be a good Secretary of State. I can see that. The perfect ticket, Nome and DeSantis. What about the other girl I like? What's her name? Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley and Tim Scott.
Or Nikki Haley and DeSantis. I think DeSantis has got the front row seat.
Yeah, I think he does right now.
But either way, what I'm really disappointed in is the way things are being run. And since we have the solution to fix things, it makes it even sadder that we're sitting here and not doing it. And just each and every day, we get a little bit weaker.
Yeah, but look at how much damage has been done in a year and what, 4 months. There's still 2 years and 8 months left.
I mean,
that's the scary part.
No, well, again, but the difference is that if the election does go off without a hitch, there is no doubt that it'll be, if it goes off without a hitch, there's no doubt it'll be a slam dunk that the Republicans will take the House
and Senate, yes.
Okay, and look,
and governorships.
And as I said, when the Republicans had all 3 houses, I said we don't ever want any one party to control all 3 houses of government. Okay, that is the perfect reason for the checks and balances that we have, anyways. But at the end of the day, I mean, that will help slow some of the imbecilic work that's going on right now. And of course, if they take control of the houses, which is more the crap comes from, okay. That becomes a story. And I'm going to make one more comment. There's a bunch of funny comments in there, which is Pelosi has COVID, Fedolak doesn't die. How dangerous is COVID? But, they found remnants of palm trees under the Arctic. Okay. Now, there's a study that's been done for hundreds of years, Vostok, that says that this is the natural evolution and that we are going to have another ice age at some point. Okay. And we've had, if you want to call it global warming, we've had this cycle before. Okay. But it's like an 80,000 year cycle. Okay. So we'll see. In the meantime,
80,000 years, I don't think we'll be around.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, but somebody said, and I believe that they did find palm trees under the Arctic, and it wouldn't be surprising. And it wouldn't be surprising, listen, we won't be here to find out about it, but it wouldn't be surprising that in whatever time it is, I think we're 40,000 years into this 80,000 year cycle. Okay. So whatever. In the meantime, so as we look at the dollar index, we're long the dollar. We got short for about 5 minutes and now we're long again. And, again, I said last week, I said, I think we're going over $1. We got over $1 for a few minutes on Friday. Did we get over today?
Yeah, for a few seconds.
Yeah, for a few seconds. But notice, I think we're making some higher support. And again, this is not a great trading vehicle, not something we'd be recommending other than in our portfolio. But again, what it is, it's the best of the crap. But basically, the fiat currency market is a fraudulent system of central bank stealing. Okay. Any comment to that, sir?
No, I mean, listen, the dollar index is a mirage. It measures the dollar against the euro, the pound, the yen, the Swedish krona, the Canadian dollar, and the Swiss franc. And you know what? The bottom line is the dollar index can go to the moon and the dollar could still lose value. And that's what we're seeing. The thing is up over 12% since January 2021. And let me ask you something. Since last January, does your dollar buy more or less, Bubba?
If I can find what I want, it buys a hell of a lot less.
Okay, thank you. So the bottom line is this is a mirage. This is a trading sardine that's meaningless, other than, hey, the trend is up. You can make some money being long it right now. That's the bottom line. But it's not telling us anything because the dollar's losing its footing here.
Connie, 99.50 support. There's obviously a little bit of shade of resistance at $1, but we're not selling it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. 99.50 support.
By the way, the one thing I would watch is 103.96 is the critical level on the upside, and that is the ticket for Bubba's parity dollar euro. That's where it goes through there. The dollar euro goes to parity.
Right. That's what I think. Okay. In the meantime, speaking of the euro currency again, listen, another mirage, and basically every currency is worth less today than it was 5 years ago. Okay. No matter what the markets show you, they continue to grab it, a little piece out of it every time it moves back and forth. Okay. The central banking system keeps stealing your money.
And the other thing is, and they're worth more today than they will be 5 years from now.
Yeah. They will continue to do this, which makes a good case for the crypto world. But of course, the crypto world doesn't like it today.
Or gold.
Right. Well, gold and silver. Sure. Okay. In the meantime, I'd say, 109 is some support. I'm not a buyer at any price right now. 109 would be some support. We are short, and I'd be unloading a lot if it gets a rally back to 110. Okay. I think they meet this week, or they already did. I'm not sure. Okay. The EU, the genius, what's her name?
Christine Lagarde.
What a broad. Anyways, Bitcoin. Whoa.
Almost went to jail in France.
Bitcoin got crippled today. And not a surprise. I mean, if you look at the chart, we said last week, 38,000, and it wouldn't be a surprise as it'd get there.
Right. I think it'll make a higher low. I do. I think that this is a lot of, there's a lot of action going on in this thing, and but I think it's going to continue to make higher lows here.
Christina Lagarde, thank you, sir. Yeah, she's a dumbass, anyways. She always was dumb.
She did something illegal in France.
I know, and she's still the head of the EU. How about that?
Yeah, well.
Okay. But again, we're short Bitcoin. But look, 38,000 should be some support if it gets that low. And again, it wouldn't surprise us at 50. It wouldn't surprise us at 30, 20, 60. Look, it's a wild commodity, a currency, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And that's a big battle that's going on between the CFTC and the SEC.
Right.
Is it a currency or is it a commodity?
Yes.
Is it an equity? Again, that's the catch 22. In the meantime, 38 to 48,000 here. Okay. And we are short. The bond market, look, this is on a straight roller coaster to 136.16. Okay.
You know,
And
Mama, I gotta ring the bell for you and me, because back in February, when the bonds, you know, when Russia invaded and then the bonds went from like the low 150s up to 160-ish, we said, we don't know where it's going to go on the upside, but this is the perfect selling opportunity. Perfect, picture perfect. And we stuck to it that, yay, we think it's going to go and test the October 2018 low at 136.16. And look at that. Where did we go up to? Right over to 160. And since then, it's just been like straight down.
yeah, 100%. Okay. And, again, there'll be rallies. So, again, listen, nothing's going to go straight down. Don't be surprised if one day this week you see a rally of maybe 2 points. Okay.
Yeah, I could see this thing recovering to the 150, but now, like we said, that the 160 would be a golden selling opportunity, the 150 would be a golden selling opportunity.
I agree. Right now, I'm not a buyer at any price. Okay. And not again, during the day, if I'm day trading, that's a whole different story.
Right.
But as far as a bigger view, I'd only a seller. And right now I'd be loading up at 145, and certainly if you got the 150. Okay. But I expect this to continue on its way south. And that all that means is mortgage rates are going higher, housing sales are going lower, and you can bet on it. This has nothing to do with the Fed funds rate. This is the fixed income market telling you that the Fed is ignorant and stupid and wrong. Okay. And they're going to be forced to hike, which is going to create even more havoc, because that's the headline news. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to go, by the way, after the next CPI, if I'm right, and it's between 8.5, around 8.5 to 9%, I think they're going to do 50 or 75 basis points in April.
Probably, because it would be too simple.
They're going to panic.
It would be too simple to drill oil. It'd be much easier to raise rates 1%. But of course, if they were doing their job.
That's, to me, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
Tapping the SPR.
Yeah.
That SPR.
That is as dumb
that SPR
worked ever in history. Okay. And how are they going to replace that oil if there is a problem?
I have never seen, by the way, I have never seen an SPR over the long term, which I'm going to say is 6 months. I have never seen the price go down when they tap the SPR. And I've been trading oil for 40 years.
Right. No, listen, it doesn't work.
And you know what? Hey, the knee jerk was down. Okay, it's down. But where is it down to? 94? Come on.
Right. It doesn't work because it's stupid. Okay. I mean, again, you got to replace that oil somehow. How are you going to replace it?
Well, they're going to pray that oil goes back to negative $40 a barrel.
Yeah, all right. They got a good chance for it. The founders did not anticipate the power of the deep state. That's for sure. Okay. Huge tax increases, no surprise. Okay. But again, so the bonds, what I say, 145 a sale. Gold had some very interesting action today. Okay. Now it spiked up very early. Okay. It was up about 170 something. It came all the way down and almost got negative again on the day before turning late. So to me, the action is suddenly, even though we're short, okay, it suddenly got a little bit more bullish. I think that 1960 is still resistance, but I wouldn't be surprised if we reverse this tomorrow. And I don't know. I have no information right now. We're short coming into this call. And as far as I'm concerned, we're still short, but certainly I would not be surprised. I mean, this action has been very good the last couple of days, and it's come nicely off of 1920, which is also a higher low. And it looks like 1920 is the new 1800.
Yeah, and the recent action in the gold mining stocks is very supportive.
It's been very bullish, right? It's been unbelievable.
Very bullish. Very. Newmont, new all-time high. I mean, what are we? We're over $100 below the high. Newmont made a new all-time high last week.
So Connie, just put like neutral, probably going to be long. I don't really have the answer, but I don't want anybody to get short yet until I can at least clarify what I think. But 1960, I think 1960 is a level to watch. Let's put it that way. 1960 is a level to watch. We're right there, but that's the level to watch because that's where we're now bobbing back and forth over. Silver, okay, although similar, not quite as strong, but it did hold 2450 very nicely. Okay, and it did fail at 2550, which is what we figured. Okay, and we'll see where it goes from here, but also, the silver miners has been acting well on the other side as well. So everything looks pretty bullish. And again, I don't know if these are going to change or not. For the moment now, I can only tell you that we are sure.
I will say one thing about gold and silver here. If China's no limits agreement with Russia includes China joining Russia by backing its yuan with gold, then watch out.
Okay, I could live with
Watch
that.
out.
I can hear. I can understand that. Look,
Then watch out. Watch out on the upside.
Yep, I listen. We both agree that trading position is one, and holding a position
Oh yeah.
is another.
Yeah.
Okay, and we both buy physical metals all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Silver 2450, 2550, and platinum. the ugly duckling in the room still. Okay, I don't understand.
It's been lately. It's been a buy below 1,000. It's been a sale above 1,000. This is, I mean, I'm not talking about the last week. I'm talking about the last couple of years.
No, I know.
It's just the way it's been. It's just the way it's been.
There.
1,000 is a hell of a pivot point since.
There you go. Wait, let me give you a real long-term chart. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, this is just what it's been.
Here's a real long-term chart. Hold on. Yeah, got to reset it. There you go. There's a monthly.
Yeah, there it is. Since 2015.
And look at the pattern. What pattern is this in, kids? What do you call that? I know what I call it. Okay. And it tried to break out, was a false breakout. Came right back down again. All right.
It's a thin metal. It's a thin metal.
In the meantime, we don't trade it anymore because it's not liquid enough. I still buy it though.
And by the way, the reason, when you look at that long-term chart, the reason that platinum behaves like this is because the pain it handed out in 2008. It destroyed the hedge fund world, and a lot of investors got destroyed in platinum when it fell from well over 2,000, 2,300 down to 800 in a couple of weeks. That destroyed it. So, it's thin. It's very thin.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I don't, it's no pain for me because I'm not selling anyways. It's just sitting in a safe. Okay. Right. So I don't care where it goes today or tomorrow. I'm not selling it tomorrow anyways. I don't care where.
It's a lot better than your silver because it doesn't tarnish.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you are looking at it, I mean, 1,000 is obviously the pivot and it looks like about 940 to 1,000. Copper, again, now it breaks it down. So now we're still short. Okay. We're still short copper, and here it is at the bottom of the range again. Now, obviously, for us as a portfolio holder, we'd like to see it break to the downside. Okay, I mean, this is set up to break to the downside. It's in a descending pattern. The real question is, will it break below 460, which I think is the key number here? That would then take you down to about 450. Yeah. Okay, what are your thoughts there, Chief? I know you watch this all the time.
My thoughts are the way these markets are all trading, that the odds favor the upside because the things are directionless. They look like they're breaking and then they go back the other way.
Well, that's been the problem for
right. That's the pattern in all markets. Today we went down on pretty decent volume. It just all the industrials went down today. Most of the industrials,
right,
except for natural gas, right?
Right. Well, natural gas is never going down again.
Of course, until it halves.
Well, right. But in the meantime, I'd say 460 to 470, 475 in copper. Look, I think it got a great chance to break below. However, based on today's pattern, which is more like a blow off type action on selling, it could create a little bit of a bounce, which would fit in Andy's opinion here. But again, we'll see. I would say that 475 would be, if it rallies, would be the highest I'd want to see it go. Okay. Corn, look, it still looks unbelievable. It's just stuck in consolidation. Moves are meaningless. It's 720 to 780 all day long. And Andy and I agree that it's going to have, there's going to be 4 digits here instead of 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, look, I think that you're going to see 10, maybe even $11. Who knows? I mean,
it's very rare that you get the perfect bullish storm. So you got the technicals, you got ethanol, and you got climate change. You got energy prices screaming. I mean, it's you got shitty weather. Oh, pardon me, lousy weather. It's all looking higher for corn.
yeah, I agree. I mean, again, look, I don't see any reason that I'd want to be a seller. In fact, I would look at potentially being a buyer around 750 and adding. Okay. I mean, that looks to be making higher lows as it came off the bottom of 720.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, 720 to 780 is the big picture. Soybeans, which we were short, we're now long. Okay. I don't know exactly where we got long, but it's somewhere low. It was lower. I don't know how much lower it was. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. But they're no different. They're just stuck in consolidation. Okay. I think you and I still both agree that when they go out of the teens, it won't be at 12.
No, I agree.
Okay. The setup for these markets, it's not all good. The setups, a lot of it is bad news, which will propel these prices higher as well. The overwhelming cost for the farmer to plant, the overwhelming, the bad weather so far, the war. There's a whole bunch of
wheat and
bad
barley.
news.
I mean, how much corn, wheat, and barley are going to come out of Ukraine and Russia this year?
Zero.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's the answer.
So this is again, and this is what this is really going to cause. I think for Americans, it's just going to mean you're paying a lot more at the store. Okay. Right. However,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to finish your sentence, which is for others around the world, it's going to mean starvation
and riots and wars.
Yes. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
it leads to civil
civil unrest.
Unrest. That's the word.
1640 to 720 or so. And we're still short. We just still obviously well off the overwhelming highs. And again, I don't particularly care. I don't particularly want to be short wheat here. But again, I'm going to follow the pattern as it is. But overall, it has held, and certainly 960 is pretty powerful. Okay. The real question here is, I think it's $11 is the next big level to the upside.
I think if it blows to $11, that system will get long.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. And, look, it's consolidated. That's basically what you're watching. It goes to up 30, down 30, up 30, down 30, up 85, down 85. It's been a very tough trade in general. Okay. And the feeder cows, I have to go to my other charts here for feeders because this doesn't update the month fast enough. Feeders, again, light volume, but they're okay. But we're short and deservedly so. I would think that you'd be looking at probably, 156 as an area of some support. And again, I think cattle's going to trade the opposite of oil for the most part. Okay. Oil goes up, budgets get squeezed, no steak for you. We go to pork. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's true. But, we're coming up to the grilling season. Costs are higher. Carcass weights are going to be lower. I think that they're all going to kind of, the long-term trends, the weekly chart still is bullish in the cattle and the hogs. I think hogs will outperform. I do too.
I mean, that's,
but I do think the cattle will go higher.
Okay. I think we're going to go lower. I think it's going to be directly dependent on inflation and what the cost of oil is, because people only have X amount to spend. So if you want to get gas for your car and feed your family, you're going to have to make a decision somewhere. Okay. And live cattle looks awful. Again, look, awful is perspective is consolidating down at the lower end around 132, 134. And, certainly, 132 to 136, but when you look at the patterns, you've got, this is the June, August. Okay. You're going into contango after we already delivered April. So we're in contango, which is a bullish pattern. Okay. So we'll see. I mean, look, again, I can only trade what I see, and that's what I see. And of course, the hog market, let me go back here one more time, get the hogs while I'm here. And the hog market, look, hogs are, up to 116. Okay. They're only 20% from the all-time highs of ever. And that was when there was the PED virus.
Right. 130, 134 and change.
Yeah.
Listen, and they traded already. They already traded. The June hogs already traded up to over 120.
Right. So look, that'll get to a point where it might be priced out too. And there's another problem. Okay. The bird flu, I understand that poultry went up like 70%.
Right. So turkeys and chicken, broilers and all that stuff, you know, there's going to be a little paranoia. So pork, that's going to feed into the pork market.
Yeah. So
They're going to eat pork.
Very interesting developments here.
And it could also support beef a little bit here, especially if the prices stay stable. You could see, you know, a little bit of buying over there too.
Maybe, yeah. And crude, which we're long, doesn't look so good here. I mean, I think we still both believe it's going to new highs. Okay. I mean, all-time new highs, not just new highs of the move, but it may not be now, and you could get a reversal here. You know, certainly we're at a key point, or the key benchmark here is to, you know, went to 130. Now we're back at 95. Okay. So, you know, we'll see what it looks like.
92.90 level, Bubba.
92.90. I could see 90. I could see 90 to 100 is the levels to be watching right now. I mean, we're still long at the moment, but I don't know if it'll be there. You know, again, it's hard to figure exactly, but I would say that, you know, there's a 50-50 chance it might reverse out. Okay. And not that I'm looking to reverse. I think you're going to see some sort of a bounce, but there has been a little weakening for whatever reasons, but we'll call it 90 to 100. Okay. Natural gas is never going down again. Look at this. What a pattern. Okay.
That's why we follow trends.
Is that unbelievable or what?
That's why we follow trends.
Look at that pattern. Now, I will say to you here, the pattern is getting a little bit steep. Okay. You're a heavy favorite to see, if we're going higher, you're a heavy favorite to see some consolidation coming here.
But yeah, you're right, 100%. But the one qualification is it's natural gas.
I know. Again, I'm looking.
And it's the one market that carries people out more than any other. So you gotta be careful.
Okay. But I would say, looking at this, 620 to 680. But again, I think you're a high probability of a consolidating market between those levels for a week or two until the trend catches up and it gets away from being up. Because if you look at it like on the Bollinger Bands or look at it against the mean, it's well above the mean right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So again, we'll see what it looks like, but 620 to 680. Cocoa, okay, which we did get long, and of course, it's working its way higher, and it did break out of this consolidation pattern. Okay, and not only did it break out, okay, it broke. It held on an attempt to sell. That doesn't mean it's going to hold, but it did hold on the way down. I would say that 2640 is support, and 2720 be about the next resistance. Okay, what's your take on cocoa?
Yeah, nothing really special. It really, until cocoa gets above the 2840 level, you know, it's going to be rough, and it should hold the 2500-ish level. It's just trading sideways for the longest time. It's
right. With most markets, right?
Right. But the May futures have rolled to July, which is critical, and now kind of the leash is off.
Okay, so 2640 to 2720, and cotton. Okay, cotton, the animal it is. And look, at no surprise, we said this a couple of weeks ago. Look for the market to consolidate. It is going up too fast. Well, we broke a little bit below, and here we are now back in range, and we're back into the probably 132 to 140. Okay, again, markets cannot sustain that move either up or down. Okay, they must do something when this occurs. And this was a perfect blow off that led to not a downtrend, but actually a sidewards or consolidating pattern. And here we are once again. Okay, so we'll see. But I would think that 134, 130 will hold. And I think you're seeing a lot higher prices. There's nothing that looks bad in this chart. Okay.
No, nothing.
Which is why, of course, we're still long as well.
Nothing.
Okay. Sugar. Oh, well, it went down a little bit today. Well, again, forces are going to go down a little bit today. Look at what happened. Okay. It went parabolically higher. it's probably going to trade in, unless it breaks out again, but 2040, 1980 to 2040.
Yeah, but
Until it goes higher. What'd you say? 21, what
very-
was your number?
Very close to 2069, which is the breakout level from last year's high.
What was your number? 21 something, I think you said, or 22 something?
2069 is last year's high, but 2290 is the critical.
Okay, so look, but bottom line is expect, one of the things about trading, investing, looking at markets is to know what to expect. It doesn't mean you're going to be right, but don't be surprised or get panicked or spooked when a market that's supposed to consolidate does. Okay, they cannot, there's no way that this upward trajectory or down can sustain itself without some type of sidewards movement or some reverse pattern until it resumes. And basically what we would expect here, I think, is that it goes sideways for a week or two, maybe less, but sideways, and consolidates, catches up with the trend, and then continues on its way up higher. Okay, that would be my expectations. Okay, oranges. This is going to be. This has got to be almost parabolic. It's like the finger.
It is parabolic.
Yeah, look at it. I mean, look, we're long on OJ, which is great. But again, if you say that this is the trend, this has to trace back. It cannot continue at this level. This is. Where's Louis and what's his name?
Winthrop.
Yeah, where's Louis and Winthrop? Okay, this has got to come back. It doesn't have to come back to here. It's got to relieve the tension that it's putting on itself by going parabolically higher. What's going on in Brazil causing all this?
21. The Brazilian real broke out to the upside. The May is 21,245. It's the highest level in years.
Right. Okay. So at the end of the day, as I said, you're going to see. And let's look at the real real quick. Where did I go here? I forgot what the symbol is already.
B.
What? Brazilian real, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Brazilian 6L.
6L, yeah.
That's what I want.
Just put up a longer term chart. That's the key.
Mm.
There you go.
So we're breaking out
Yeah.
of consolidation that we've been in for 2 years.
Right.
Okay, and making a run. So the next logical target is like 22.
Right.
Okay. So again, when you look at it, so you and this is again the story. When you look at these different markets, okay, as you see, these continue to happen. So that's what's driving some of these prices higher as well. Okay. Coffee. And once again, we're long, so that's a good thing. And look at this again, starting to make another big move. And if you look at that as the trend, it's a little bit up above it. I would suspect you'll see probably a little bit retracement from around 240. But right now, it looks like it wants to go higher. And I think this time it might make its run.
Yeah. I mean, we both. Well, I mean, I just expect a higher high, and then more of the same. This is just going to work its way up. But I do expect this thing to trade with a 3 handle.
I agree. I see that as well. I think again, this is what we're watching. I mean, it's right in front of you to see exactly what we're doing and what's happening. Okay. And this was very powerful from 179 to 260, pulled back, and now it looks like it's on the move again. And you're seeing these very big days. Okay. There's very few flat to unchanged days. Okay. Anyways, 228 to 240.
Feast or famine.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I said feast or famine in these soft commodities.
Yeah.
They move.
Lumber, again, look, what's your take on lumber? It's illiquid. We don't trade it. It's only a benchmark that we look at in general.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the highest price before the 2018 was 494, 493.50. We're still at very high levels. There's all kinds of supply chain issues. Russia's a big supplier of lumber. The bottom line is it'll find a bottom at a higher low than the 500 level. But just crazy market. I would trade it with a 10-foot pole.
Well, obviously you can't trade it because it is an illiquid. I mean, it only trades 300 contracts a day. How are you going to trade it? Yeah. But so what is your overall take on commodities as a group?
Buy the dips.
Good.
I mean, we follow trends. But for longer term investing and stuff, the way I see it, I don't see inflation going down. I don't see the Fed coming anywhere near the curve. And inflation fuels these things. And we talked about it at the beginning, Bubba. We talked about the purchasing power of fiat currency. And these commodities are priced in dollars, which is the ultimate fiat currency. And you know what? We're going to make money on the up and the downside from the trends. I think that when we look back at this period, we're going to say that we made more on the uptrends than we made on the downtrends. How's that?
The commodities, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been, pretty much kind of under wraps for many, many years. And, they big markets don't announce themselves. They just show up.
As an asset class, it's doing very well.
Right.
Beating pretty much everything. And that includes cryptos this year.
Dust storm. I just got a warning on my phone. There's a dust storm in Nevada.
Well, those are nasty.
Do you still recommend NCU or as Bubba calls a Roach Motel?
Zero visibility, Bubba.
NCU. What is NCU?
What's NCU? I have National Weather Service.
No. This is a stock or
NCU. I'm sorry.
Nevada Copper. This is the Roach Motel, son.
Yes.
I don't care what Andy says. I'm telling you, it's the Roach Motel. Okay.
Well,
you want to trade it? You want to gamble? You want to throw away some money? Hey, I've bought plenty of this crap. I got hundreds of these on my sheets.
Let me explain something to you about this. This is a lotto ticket. It's a lotto ticket.
Right.
It's not a trading stock. It's a lotto ticket. They have production in Nevada. Copper is in play, certainly. The price will go higher over the coming years. It's a lotto ticket, though. It's a junior miner, and junior miners, they're lotto tickets. Some of them produce, and some of them don't.
A 60-cent stock,
right,
is a penny stock. Like I said, I bought plenty of this crap. I've got probably, and legitimately, I probably have 300 on sheets.
Likewise,
NA next to them all.
Likewise.
Okay.
Likewise. But again, it's a lotto ticket. If you like copper and you want to take a junior miner, this is an interesting one. But it's a lotto ticket.
All this is however much you're willing to lose, you can buy this.
Right, exactly. How about this? The risk on this stock is 63 cents.
That's right. So if you want to buy 1,000 shares and risk $630, hey, go
be my guest. I'm with you. I'll do the same.
Okay. But as far as a regular stock, this is not a stock. This is a penny piece of shit. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Let's stop the pregame. Unless you have any last minute thoughts, and we'll get to the regular call.
One last minute thought, I guess.
Sure.
In markets like natural gas, you got to be really careful. And you know what? It's okay to take a shot and say, hey, it's a little bit overextended, but have discipline and don't allow that short-term trade to become a longer-term position just because the market makes you look stupid.
Right. No, we don't trade. I don't.
Your defeat.
I tell everybody I don't trade natural gas on a short-term basis. I carry it in the portfolio.
I do. So, for me, it's discipline, it's risk reward, and I'm in and I'm out, and that's it. And if I get it wrong, I get it wrong.
Yeah. I just don't think you can day trade. I don't think you can use realistic stops. It's too wide. But again, everybody's got to each their own. In the meantime, let me stop this and we'll get the next recording going. Hold on. Stop. Yep. Thanks, honey. Appreciate it. All right. And what's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to the Monday Night Call, which gets longer and longer and earlier. And pretty soon it'll be 24 hours a day. But in the meantime, you can see my little cartoon this week. No inflation, no recession, no soup for you. And that's going to be a real problem. That's not really funny. It's going to be a problem at some point in parts of the world. Masters was unbelievable. What do you think? Did you watch any of it?
I did. It was great. I was glad to see Tiger make the cut.
I bet him to do so.
Yeah, no lie, actually. But I was very glad to see him make the cut, not just because I bet him, because I like him. And I thought, hey, the guy ran away with it, basically.
Yeah. I'll look at uranium later. Okay. When we're done, how do you let the market take you out? I'm not sure what you mean. by that question, but certainly if you give me a little bit broader, a little bit more interpretation of what you want, I can show you. But the Masters was great, and fortunately I had Scotty Scheffler, so that was even better. Okay. And so that was all good, and enjoyed it, and had a lot of fun watching. The kid was unbelievable. Okay. It was like stoic. And by the way, traders, you should take note of his personality on the golf course. You didn't know if he had a bad shot or a good shot. He was very even keel the entire time. Okay. So just remember, that's the key. That's one of the keys in the trading world, is not to let the markets
Rock your boat.
Who's the numbnut? What is that question supposed to mean? Are you some kind of dumbass or what? Anyways, in the meantime, breaking news: Chicago cancels all drive-by shootings this week due to high gas prices. I couldn't resist. This mayor is an idiot, an imbecile. Okay, and the hardest thing to do is leaving your comfort zone, but you have to let go of the life you're familiar with and take the risk to live the life you dream about. Again, life is about risk. Okay. I gotta cut you out of this, sir. You're just not a good person to have in part of my call. Sorry. In the meantime, again, it's what we talk about. We're talking about risk reward all the time. That we assign levels. Okay, what does that mean? We're assigning a value and what your risk should be. Okay, and of course, as we always thank our military and our police officers, our fire, every public servant that basically works for nothing and defends our country. And God, I'm really scared. We're going to need you more than ever now. Okay, it's a scary world out there. What do you think, sir?
It's a very scary world, and the military, the police, the fire, they put their lives on the line every day, and we're lucky we have them.
You cannot trade uranium in the futures market. Okay, so it would have to be a stock, and as I said, I'll look later. Right now, I'm doing the regular Monday night call, but I'll be happy to look later. I don't have any off the top of my head, but I know there's a number of you who will ask me about uranium stocks when we get to that point, and I'll be happy to look then. Okay. So the St. Louis Fed president says the Fed is not far behind the curve. Now, what is he, an idiot, Bullard? Okay.
What curve is he talking about?
That's what I want to know. Is the man an idiot or what? Okay.
Not that far behind the curve.
There's short-term
rates, to put short-term rates at the February number, okay? At the February CPI, to put short-term rates at zero, you would have to have 31 25 basis point hikes.
I mean, there's models that were designed in 1920.
It's not that far behind if you're looking at 100. I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. This is the problem with the Federal Reserve. These guys are imbeciles. Okay, these guys are imbeciles. Okay, they may be very brilliant from an education standpoint, but they refuse to change the models for what's going on today. Okay,
maybe when they're using the models, they're sniffing the glue.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The Ford Model T and the Fed were developed in the same year. Okay, yeah. Look at Ford now, self-driving cars, and look at the Fed still doing the same stupid stuff, still stealing from us. Yeah. I thought this was really interesting. Tennessee Titans become the first NFL team to accept Bitcoin. Okay, what does that say to you? Anything?
It says to me that some of the NFL players are taking their salaries in Bitcoin and stuff, or a piece of them. Mm-hmm. It's generational to one extent, to some extent. With the players, younger people are more accepting of it.
And I think that even them taking it is showing that there is some, even though there's still issues from a political side, but the money issues. I mean, this is the Titans are part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah, it's funny. Before Trump became president, he was taking gold for payment on Trump Tower apartments.
Right.
So you know what? I look at it as the same thing. It's just another sector that has no faith in our currency.
And I think that billionaires are starting to back Bitcoin more now. I mean, obviously they have the money, so it's not as big of an issue to them. but I think it's becoming more accepted, and I think it will lead to higher prices. And again, I'm a believer in the space. Anyways, it is what I call the currency of libertarian. In the meantime, New Jersey requires second graders to learn about gender and identity starting in the fall. How do you think the parents are reacting to that?
Let's move from New Jersey.
I mean, can you imagine?
No,
If it was your kids, what would you say?
no. I say no.
I mean,
I'd homeschool them.
it's of course you and Julia are moving to Palm Springs to get that. No, but I'm just saying, you
No,
look at this whole thing and you go,
this is
really?
This
At
is
second grade, you're 6 years old, 7 years old.
This is insanity. At 6 years old, ABCs, math, science, that's what they should be doing.
Maybe we focus more on math and science, we wouldn't become a nation of idiots. Okay. And the biggest thing of all, Biden extends the student loan forgiveness. Now,
Can I tell you a funny story?
yeah.
So, I have two granddaughters,
Mhm.
and my granddaughter in Indiana, they have a friend who bought a book for the baby, and it was a very woke book, B is in bisexual and that kind of thing, ABC. My son threw it in the trash. I bought him. Julie and I bought her books. We bought her astrophysics for babies, the theory of relativity for babies, organic chemistry for babies. That's what kids need to learn. Math, science. That's what they need to learn. This other stuff is, pardon my expression, bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Will banks lose due to loan forgiveness? No, the banks never lose.
Thanks, though.
It's the only industry that you can be in and get in trouble and get bailed out. Okay, the banks will never lose money. Okay, if there's a problem, they'll get bailed out. But a lot of this loan is from the Fed, from the Fed lending institutions, not the banks themselves. Okay, these are government programs which will lose, but they won't.
But the government programs, they approve them, and the bank just makes the payment.
But I don't understand. Okay, there's plenty of jobs out there. Why are we still forgiving loans? Tell me.
Because the bartender from Queens, this is one of her primary things. This is part of the progressive agenda, to forgive student loans. This is part of the progressive agenda.
I want my money back. I want my $1 million back.
Well, that's what I said to you. I think I said this to you last year when we were talking. I said, I saved and spent a fortune to send my sons to college. I was a schmuck. I should have not done it. They would have gotten their loans forgiven.
Yeah, unbelievable. Anyways, as always, our words.
By the way, there's no means testing.
Right. Okay. Our words of wisdom from Connie: your life does not get it by chance; it gets better by change. Okay. And again, Connie always nails it with her words of wisdom. Again, you can either choose to be in the same thing you're always in, or if you're don't like where you're at, you can choose to get better. But I think, trying to improve yourself is always better. It makes everybody better, and it gives you a better shot to succeed. And again, look, that's up to you. I can't make you do anything, but I certainly, I know that Andy tries to get better. I try to get better every day. Oh, yeah. And by not, you're really just falling in with the same crap. And look at what's going on here now. Okay. Can you imagine what's going on in this country right now?
No, you have to change with markets, with the situation. I mean, could any of one predicted the predicament we'd be in now, geopolitically and economically, 3-4 years ago? I certainly couldn't. I mean,
not if you knew who was going to be president, you would, though.
Well, you know what? Even I mean, come on. I go by. Even a broken clock is right twice.
No.
I couldn't imagine this guy. If they did everything opposite, it would be perfect. How they're perfect.
Hold on, Sparky. He gave up everything the day he took office. He gave it up. Okay, they didn't need a mask or a gun. He gave up everything right away.
He hasn't even gotten lucky with one thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. The odds do not favor a 0 batting average. Right?
There are a set of notebooks called Big Fat Notebook that are specific books that summarize subject covered in grade school. Just the facts, not a lot of the subject commentary. Okay, well, that's good. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, me too. Math and science.
How about adjusting the interest rates below usury levels? Obama never underestimated Joe's ability to.
By the way, that does stick in my head constantly.
No, and no kidding. Okay, but of course, Obama's probably behind all this anyways. But in the meantime, her State of the Union. Okay, another new category. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Jim Morrison, believe it or not. Okay, and moon dance, baby. But it's listen. This is what goes on. The media, the world. Okay, it's how it's reported, and we certainly do not get anything good from the media because it's really which side do you want to listen to. That's the story you're going to get, and I think that's the one of the big problems we have as well. Okay, they have math and science. I'd love that. Okay, but again, what are you going to teach them in school? That's what I'm worried about, because I don't have to worry about it anymore until I have grandchildren. I don't have those yet. So, and of course, I've been bitching for an hour, but the work ethic of Americans is pathetic. I'm not saying every one of them, but I had to go to Walmart yesterday. Okay, and they open at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I got there. Fortunately, I got there later. Okay, and I got there at like 7:45. Okay, and they go, I had to return something. The customer service doesn't open until 8. That's okay. I'll wait the 15 minutes. And there's 50 people sitting there doing nothing. Okay, and now 8 o'clock comes, and they're still sitting there doing nothing. They didn't start until like 5 or 10 after 8. Now there was a line of probably 50 deep in the customer service, but they could not get away from sitting on their ass doing nothing, and instead of taking care of the customers. They're around the clock. I mean, what is the big ordeal? But this is not just Walmart. Most places you go, the clock says we open at this time, and we're not opening 1 second before. I don't care how many people are waiting for it. Okay. Anyways, as we look into markets and the Dow YM Yankee Michael, the Dow future, which is what we use for representative of the Dow Jones, it still is the strongest of the bunch. We are long at the moment, and I would say 34,000 to 34,800. Okay, I don't know if it'll still be long tomorrow, but this has the highest probability of remaining long through tomorrow. Okay, and I'd say, like I said, 34,000, 34,800. The S&P Echo Sierra. Now this I'm going to bet is going to change. Okay, this has failed at every turn. It's in pretty solid downtrend. Today's sell-up was on no volume, which we haven't talked volume yet, but volume has been absolutely pathetic. Okay, and I think that this is where my theory that the retail traders are being allowed from the commercials and institutional trading to buy a little bit, and they're selling at every opportunity, but they're not overselling as to not to create any panic to this market. But I think that that's where we're headed, and I think we're going to see a pretty healthy, stiff downtrend. That would be my opinion here. Okay. In the meantime, 4,400 would be the first support level, and I think you're 44 to 44.80. I would not be surprised to see a little bit of a bounce off of 4,400, but I think we're headed to 43 or maybe 42.80 would be the next stop that I would see. Okay. And the NASDAQ, November, Quebec, we're short, and it's breaking down. Now, certainly, would I be surprised at a bounce from here? No, I wouldn't be surprised at any little bounce. But again, remember, look at these volumes. So there's nothing triggering any fear in this sell-off, which means that basically we've been heading down basically for 2 weeks. Okay, there's a couple of rallies in there, but it's very steady. It's very controlled. There's no panic involved. There's been very little volume for months, but certainly over this selling pressure has created nothing as well, which is very unusual in the market. Okay, is very unusual in the market specter. Okay, so I think when you look at this again, I think we're going much lower. I think that this is I think we're in the infancy of a much longer, big time sell-off, which eventually I think leads us to cutting to having the markets of where they are now. Okay, and the Russell I didn't give you levels. I'm sorry. I don't think I did. 13.8. Okay. 14.4. And I would certainly sell at 14.4. Okay. In the meantime, the Russell is also short. And again, coming down, it's probably got a little bit further to go before we see any sort of a bounce. Again, certainly it could bounce tomorrow. I can't predict that, but it would be no surprise to see this come down and test 1940. Okay. I would think that 2020 or even 2000 would be a level to sell. Okay. I think this is also after months of consolidation. I think what you're going to see is you saw the consolidation, the breakdown. I think you're seeing a repeat, and I think you're going to see another breakdown. Okay. So I think that is what you're looking at here. And again, we're short the NASDAQ, we're short the Russell. I think we'll be short the S&P tomorrow. I'm not quite so sure about the Dow. And of course, the VIX had a little bit of a pop today, not a surprise, but the VIX has been trading very thin as well. And I think that Andy and I have agreed that there's basically just a higher low in place, and we're not going to see down at 15 or 10 for quite a while. And there's probably a greater probability that we see 30 before we see 15, or we see an average of 25, 26 before we see back to 15. What do you think?
Yeah, it really consolidated around that 20 level and popped out of there.
So, I think that, look, the volatility did not necessarily match. And this is where we talk about options and how it's the VIX index is built. It's built on options being bought versus being sold to open, not on whether or not it's short or long. I mean, it works out that the volatility picks up because the put sellers stop selling to open. Okay. And the call buyers, call buyers are very tricky. You don't really know what's on the other side of that trade. Okay. But you stop seeing some other things happen that do trigger lower volatility, which is selling put spreads, which is a bullish strategy, selling naked puts, which is another bullish strategy. And that even when you see that creates the lower volatility index, even though they're buying bullish strategies. Okay. And what happens, they stop using those, which automatically perks up the VIX a little bit. Okay. So in the meantime, Apple, Alpha Papa Lima, which we are short. Okay. And it has once again broken down. It went up and notice the pattern it went into. Okay. It got stuck and it had a nice big move up, consolidated. Okay. And you can see, right? I told you it was going up too far. It would have to consolidate and then make a decision. Well, look what's happened. It consolidated and now it's breaking down. And that doesn't mean that the company has changed. The trend has changed and the situation has changed. And I would suggest that 170 is going to be resistance. Okay. And you're probably looking at 160 as the next real support, 160 to 170. And certainly it would be no surprise if we got down there. I mean, again, when these things get going, remember, we haven't seen any real selling or fear type of selling since when? COVID?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it doesn't mean the company has changed. It just, the markets go through the cycles. Okay. Alpha Golf. Okay. Which we're still long. Okay. And, look, this is a silver miner and it's doing exactly what silver is doing, but it looks better than silver. Okay. And it came right off the bottoms of support at $13. Now we're headed back towards 14, maybe higher. And again, remember, the only reason we carry this is because we're carrying it for the long side of the market, not the short side of the market. Okay. The short side, we don't get hurt. The long side, we got a chance for a monster home run, which is, again, why it's in these portfolios or in one of them. But again, right now, 13 to 14. But certainly, I wouldn't have a problem if you said, maybe I'm going to step in at 1320, 1330. I think it's one you want to own, especially if you're a metals player and think they're going higher. Okay. Alpha Michael Delta, AMD, which we are short. And, some of these we got short today. So again, it's not like we've been short the whole time. And last night we were long a bunch of these. So just so you understand, it's just what the trends are doing. Now, this has broken down now. Okay. Between Friday and today, this is broken through the bottom end. And now it could get ugly. What's going on in the chip sector, kid?
Nothing much. I mean, there's still shortages, still real nervousness about Taiwan here. But this is pretty weak action in AMD.
Yeah, I mean, this is looks like it's going now. It looks like it could go significantly lower.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that really the next real support comes in around 90 and then 85. Okay. So looking at it right here, I would say 100, okay, to 90, 90 to 100. Okay. Now I'm not a buyer at any price right now, but 90 to 100.
You know,
Okay.
chips are a commodity, and we got to start producing chips in the United States. I know the environmentalists don't.
Why should we produce any in the United States? We couldn't give up all our power if we did.
So we can survive.
Yeah. Look, they don't want to survive. I skipped AL. I'm never looking at AL again. I don't ever look at it.
I love that.
Bravo Alpha. Well, it had the big rally and now it's back in the toilet and we're back shorted again. Okay. Look, I think 100 is a pretty key level, but certainly it would be no surprise if it went back to 90, 80, and it'd be no surprise if it fills this gap down to 81.
By the way, I didn't hear anything about Munger with this.
He retired. He didn't have to disclose anymore.
I guess that's it. I know he retired. It's about time. He's 98.
So bless you. So anyways, right now, support's around 100, but I would not be surprised to see it cut through it like a hot knife through butter. I would say 90 to 110. That's a big range, but it's a wild stock. Just look at the ranges it's traded. It's gone from 76 to 120. We're about mid-range right now. Okay. Let's go back to three on the tree. Yep. I got it. Okay. Bido, which is, again, we haven't made a trade here yet. We're still trying to watch the futures action. And I think as they now are bringing out some options for the micros, we'll start to see an actual contango and backwardation in Bitcoin as well. This is just a way that for those who like to play Bitcoin or are afraid to get into the actual Bitcoin itself, can play through an ETF, Bido, which is directly correlated to the future, or Tradier brokerage, one of our recommended brokers, is going to start having Bitcoin on their, or cryptos on their site as trading, and also as, against your margin, so you can actually trade them if you want. But in the meantime, this is, kind of in mid-range, and I think that, probably 24 to 26 is what you want to watch. Okay. But again, really though, if you're playing this one, you're deciding whether or not you want to be long Bitcoin or not. Okay. BitQ, which is Bitcoin soup, and it has got flushed down the toilet, as they say, and it continues to go lower once again. Let's say it was about $30 some not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's at 14. Okay. It looks to me that 14 is the key support level. Now, again, this is really, we don't cover this in any portfolio. This is strictly covered because if you want to play in the Bitcoin space, this is Bitcoin soup. This has a lot of the miners in it. Okay. So it's just a way to play the space without exposing yourself to, one of those wallets that you're afraid of, like all of us, because you hear the horror stories of the passwords. But it's something to think about if you want to trade it. I mean, I would certainly, I own it. I would certainly look at $14 if I were going to look to buy it. I don't know that I'd try to catch the blind knife. I'd watch the action at 14. And if it starts to move up from there, I'd certainly look to buy it. Chewy, Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee, which we're short. And this is just dead nuts and like everything else, doing nothing. Okay. Now it is lower, obviously, from where it's been. And it's certainly in a pretty serious downtrend overall. Okay. Now the real question is how is it going to react at 40 if it gets back there? Okay. And then if it gets there, well, how's it going to react at 36? Those are the real key levels for this company. Okay. For this stock. Okay. Andy and I both use them, so we think they're a great company, but just because it's a great company doesn't mean that the stock has to go up today. Okay. So I think that, if you're looking at this chart, 40, 46 are the levels, but I think the real levels underneath are 36 and to see what happens there and then below, because if it goes through there, it could really fall apart. Okay. And it could become a DraftKings and a pen and have to be a takeover candidate somewhere. Okay. And coin, Charlie Oscar India November, which we are also short. And once again, we're going to test these lows. Okay. Now, if you look at it from this longer view, it's at the bottom end of consolidation and it's in danger of breaking to the downside, which is obviously for our position. That's what we want to see it happen. okay, is break to the downside and continue to trend lower. Okay. It from right now, I'd have to say that 170 is resistance, 165. Okay. And basically, there's no real spot to buy here. You're violating the bottoms. You have no legitimate support level. All you're doing now, if you're not hedging it, is saying, okay, I'm taking a shot. I think Bitcoin's going higher. And we know that this is the bookmaker. Okay. They are the clearinghouse. They're the biggest, they're the only public one. And they're going to be, that Bitcoin's going higher because that's when they get all their action. Their action dries up when the market's going lower, which is obviously why you see the stock continue to collapse. Okay. So there isn't really any support. I mean, this is we're at it right now. 152, 150, that's the same thing. If it breaks,
Chanos is pounding on it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's short this.
Okay. I mean, again, it could be, if it goes through 150, it could be at 100 in no time. Okay. But again, obviously it'll depend on what Bitcoin's doing at the same time. Okay. DraftKings, it just cannot seem to get off the curve. We are shorted in our portfolio. Look, it's really, there's only one thing that's going to save it. I think we agree. We've kind of come to that conclusion a couple of months ago, I guess, or whatever. And it's to be bought out because I don't think that they can ever make enough money to become a profitable corporation as it sits. I think they put out way too much cost in acquisition, name acquisition and customer acquisition. And because they're in a limited business of how much money they can make, okay, because, again, a great week for them is 5% of whatever they take in. Okay, so in the meantime, 15 to 20 would be the level I'd be watching. And again, for me, I do own it, but I will stop accumulating it at 15 if it goes below. But it looks pretty weak, pretty meek. Facebook, Foxtrot Bravo, which we're still on. Okay, now here we are. Obviously, the pattern has gotten much better when it fell way apart. But you're now at another key level. I think 215 is going to be the key here. 215 as the major support. If it breaks through, I think it's going to get ugly. And I think you got 240 as resistance. And I think they have earnings in a week or two. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye out. And,
again, there's an interesting setup here because if they do very well, you could see like an island reversal here, which is always an interesting pattern, Bubba.
Yeah, no, it could be. I mean, we'll have to see. What their earnings drove them down in the first place. And again, they've got earnings, I think, well, actually, I can tell you exactly. I don't have to think. I can tell you the thing. Hold on.
As much as I hate this stock, and I don't like the management. I've never had a Facebook account. I just don't like it. As much as I hate it, I will qualify by saying that, as a total spec, I might be tempted to go into those earnings a little long. You know what I mean?
We covered those an hour ago, my friend. I don't know. I think there might be so much hatred for Zuckerberg that if he doesn't step down, they may continue to pound it. But
the setup is interesting here.
Yes, it is. Now, 100%. Okay.
Technically, it's just a total technical setup.
April 27th are the earnings.
Right. Okay. If it did gap up, it would be a lot of herd buying would come into the stock.
I think so. So right now we'd be looking, 215 to 240 First Solar, Foxtrot, Sierra, Lima, Romeo, which we are now short. And of course, this has come down and broke through that 80 level. Remember, we're watching up to 90 and now it's reversed out and we're short now. I think 80 is resistance. And I think your first support is probably 75. Okay. And if you can get the trend to continue, I mean, certainly you're looking at potentially all the way back down to 60, if not farther. Okay. So we'll see what that looks like. And GDX, which we commented, it looks great. Okay. Tried to break out even today. It came back a little bit, but look at the overall pattern.
I mean, it looks better than gold.
100%.
And not leveraged. I mean, there's no leverage in this thing. This is just gold miners. And gold miners tend to outperform on the upside. And they also at times tend to lead. So to answer your question there, going back to what we said in the pregame, gold, we're still short gold, aren't we, Bubba? But
we are for the moment. I don't.
Right,
my guess is we won't be tomorrow, but we are for the
conviction. The conviction, gold is looking interesting here.
I would say this to you: okay, that this looks great. We are long it and haven't reversed out of this. Okay, even when we reverse gold. So I think that, this looks really solid. I think the key is to watch is 40. If you can get through 40, it can really start to take off. And this is not that, this is not that volatile of a stock to begin with. Okay. But certainly,
By the way, it's not, it's Newmont is a big percentage of this, and Newmont made a new all-time high.
and look at the last time, it was in very similar pattern. It went from 33 to 40.
Right.
So again, I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, the bigger the numbers get, the faster they move.
Right.
Okay. In the meantime, to me, this looks like, 39 support. And again, resistance is right around 40. We'll see what happens. Okay. But we are long. Goldman Sachs, Gulf Sierra, wasn't that up today at one point? Closed lower. Okay. Anyways, we're short Goldman. And again, they have earnings Thursday. Friday is Good Friday, no markets. Markets are closed. So Thursday morning, JP Morgan and Goldman, and I'm sure probably Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley report. We're short right now. And obviously, I don't see it changing anytime soon. I mean, this looks pretty bad. I think the key level to watch here is right where it's at. Around the 320. It's trading 321 in the post market, but again, that means nothing for tomorrow. Okay.
Well, it doesn't want to pay the CEO 35 million.
So, we'll see what this looks like, but overall, again, it's the key to watch here is 320. We are short. Certainly I wouldn't be aggressively doing anything now, either way. I mean, we have a position and we carry positions through everything. And generally we're pretty spot on into an earnings because the price action indicated what was probably gonna do. However, I wouldn't be adding anything here, no matter what I think, because again, I have to let the earnings come out and let them play, and then I can judge from there. So I'm watching 320. That's the key here, I think. Okay. IWM, India Whiskey Michael, okay, which we're short. And look, as I said last week, we go through 200. It's 195 here we come, and then I think 190. I think I think the next big test here is 190, and I think it's getting there faster than you think. I mean, this slow downtrend that we're in is actually better for being short. It's better than the immediate payday because you get paid better if it trends lower. Okay. I would say this is 190 to 200. Mara, Michael Alpha Romeo Alpha, which is a minor, which is part of BitQ, but this stands alone. And we are short this in our portfolio. Again, one of my better sources says sell every rally here. It's going a lot lower, and they trade it every day. I would say 20 would be some support, and I would certainly be a willing seller at maybe 24. Now it will track Bitcoin, so it's not just don't start naked shorting everything. You better have a covered position here. I mean, this would actually be a great stock, but we can't do it as retail traders. But it'd be a great stock to be long calls and short stock. Okay. On a ratio so that you can benefit from either side. But in the meantime, 20 to 24. NEO, what did I say? I told you it popped and now it would drop. And here it is, just like BABA, it made its peak. It rallied up nicely to 24. Okay. And now here it is back headed south. Now, unfortunately, we're long it, but again, I didn't like the way it looked and I didn't like anything about it. Hopefully it'll hold, the $18 level. Okay, we'll see. It looks like it's 18 to 22, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back to 12. Okay. Nougat, November Uniform Golf Tango, looks even juicier because it's 3 times the weight or twice the weight of GDX. And this is actually broken out. This is actually a pullback to support. Okay. At 74. Okay. And we are long this as well. Okay. So this looks, again, the miners look great right now, which gives me an indication that with gold's action today, it was pretty bullish action that I would expect a reversal anyways. But here I'd be surprised if we go below 72.50. Okay. And again, upside, there's no real target here. I mean, this thing could, if you haven't ever watched these levered ETFs, they work up of a multiplier. As they rally, they go up faster and faster. Okay. And on the way down, they decay. So in the meantime, 72.50 to, maybe 80 will be resistance if it gets there. NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha.
Another chip company.
Yep. And another one we're short. And again, this is going to, looks like it wants to test that 210 level again. Okay. I would say looking at this, 210 to 250. I mean, it's only taken 4 days to get down there. 210 to 250. Okay. Looks pretty bad. Okay. Penn, talk about looking bad. This was $150 at one point. Now it's 37 bananas. Okay. We're short this as well. Okay. And this is like DraftKings. Again, acquisition costs way too hard. Barstools couldn't help these guys get through it all. I would look at, 38, 39 as a resistance level. And there's no support to even think about buying unless you want to gamble on a company that might get taken over. Okay. The Qs, Quebec. We're short. And of course, they look bad. Now, I will say this, though. The difference here is the speed in which just went down would more likely provoke a small rally first before continuing. I think you have to see probably a little bit of sideways action here before we see it continue much lower. I think that watch 340. I'm certainly a seller at 350. Okay. But watch 340 because if it holds there, it won't be a surprise. If it kind of churns on both sides of 340, it won't be a surprise for any period of time. Okay. It legitimately should consolidate because it dropped from 370 to 340 way too quickly. Okay. Riot, which is just another miner in the Bitcoin, which is just stuck in consolidation. 15 to 15 to 20 would be the levels to watch. Again, this is only if you want to buy Bitcoin. We don't carry it. We don't cover it. 15 to 20. Roku, Romeo Oscar, Kilo Uniform, which we did get long. Now we're short again. Okay. Look, I think this is 100 to 140. This is a level we've been watching for about 3 or 4 weeks now. I think that, again, if it gets through 100, I don't think 60 is far behind. However, if it continues to hold, then you could certainly see a big turnaround here. I mean, it's a great company. They got a great product, but again, how much can you inundate the consumer with these things? So in the meantime, right now it's 100 to 140 and we are short. Sierra Quebec, Square Dance, okay, which we are long. And again, it peaked. Remember we said last week, watch the 140, 145, oh, bang. It's now coming back down a little bit, now smoothly coming down. I think you want to watch 120, okay, as support. And I think they have earnings coming out shortly as well, I believe. Okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, well, they're not for a while. They're not till May. Okay. Look, it looks like it's come off the bottom, fairly well. Okay. I would think there's a greater chance of a rally from 120 than a continue to break down. Okay. So I would look at it at 120. I think it's probably 120 to 140. Okay. The SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, a little bit steep. Okay. Probably will also either pop or consolidate for a while. And again, consolidation could be up one day, down one day. I think you're going to go sideways before resuming this downtrend. And I think the next real support is 430. Okay. And then 410 after that. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got to either one of those, but I don't think we'll get there by next Monday. 430 by next Monday. Now remember, it's a short week this week. Good Friday is Friday, so there's no markets. And I assure you it'll get slower. It's already slow, but it'll be slow on Thursday. So, anything, when markets are quiet, anything goes. Okay. Anything can happen in a quiet market because they're already thin. They're going to be even thinner. Okay. In the meantime, for today, I would just watch, and again, around the 440 area is the kind of the pivot to watch. I don't think there's any real support till 430 if the 440 doesn't hold. Tilray, which we don't trade, but again, I think it's just another example of false rumor, pushed it up, bring it right back down again. Tango Quebec, which is nothing more than the Q on steroids. We have no position in it. However, it does look pretty bad, but like the Qs, I would suspect it's going to find some consolidation. I think you got 44 support, which I would not be a buyer. And I think there's 56 or 52 first, and then 56 resistance. Okay. I mean, I would love to be a seller at 50. Okay. Tesla, now You know, it had its big move up, and listen, like anything else, it went up too fast. Oh, gee. And then we drew that in too. Isn't that shocking? We drew it in, said it needed to consolidate, and now it's dropping a little bit. So, I mean, look, it's really just, if you look at the overall pattern, it really was at the top of the range. I think you want to watch, 940 and then 880 on the downside. I mean, I don't trade this anymore myself, but 1120 and 1200 on the upside.
Geez, I mean, look at that move, over $400 a share from mid-February, late February.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Okay. And then Win, Whiskey Yankee. With the VIX, we don't use anymore because, again, it's just, I don't get involved. When they get these news items that make me crazy, I don't get involved. Win, we're short. Whiskey Yankee, November. Again, way too fast of a drop. Watch 70 as a key level to watch. There isn't real levels, although if you want to be a seller, which would be, I'd look to be at 75 or 77.50 to be a seller. Okay. And I like this company. I own it long term. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. But again, you markets and companies go through ebbs and flows. Okay. XBI just back in consolidation got the 96, which we kind of said we thought it would get to. And then we thought it could get to 100. It did not. And now it's kind of churning back down again. Now, the real key here is going to be, what does it do if it gets back to 84? How does it react at 84? Okay. I don't trade this at all anymore, so I don't have a real feel for it, but I would say 84 would be pretty key support and 92 would be pretty key resistance. And Zoom, which I don't trade anymore, but it's just, this is very much like Roku. Okay. I think the 100 is the key benchmark to watch in the downside. If it goes for 100, I think it's going back to 60. Okay. But again, it's 100 to 120.
What an amazing fall.
I mean, amazing. They both went to over 500. Now they're both around 100.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, look at CCJ, the uranium for
What was? Oh yeah, Kamiko. Yeah.
Kamiko. That's the best.
Kamiko. I know Kamiko. CCJ looks great. I mean, if I were trading this, I'd be looking to be a buyer around 29.
Yeah, and
I
uranium.
think URA is a uranium stock too, isn't it? Uniform Romeo Alpha.
Yeah, that's the yeah. Looks
Yeah.
good.
I mean, again, this looks good about 26, maybe 27. Again, you just have to make a decision.
The price-
Understand what your risk is going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
The per pound price of uranium has been trending higher, and it looks good.
Okay. So wait, how can you mentioned that you let the market, I let the market, in other words, if I'm day trading, I continue to raise my stop based on what the market is telling me. So this is what I'm watching. Okay. If I'm day trading. Okay. I actually watch even 1 minute charts. Okay. And I continue to watch these because the same patterns appear and they will take me out. I never get out. I always get stopped out. The question is at what price do I get stopped out? Okay. Is it a profit? Okay. Usually it's at a profit when I'm making those trades. So, but I do have I have a stop loss that is established when I put the trade on and is entered right away. And then if we get to a move in our favor, like we had gold today. Okay. We were long gold. Okay. And it broke and it didn't take our stop. And then it rallied back up through it. And I said, okay, just use break even for a stop now. And of course it came back and took us out of break even. But again, we had the opportunity because we understand how to place our stops. And that's how the short-term trade takes me out. The long-term takes me out by the algorithm, whether that changes directions or not. Okay. Let's see.
Try REMX for the MP rare metals.
REMX, Romeo Echo Michael X-ray.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's the rare earths.
Oh, looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad.
Correction.
Well, now again, remember that this is pretty steep. Okay. So I would expect, worse consolidation somewhere around here and we'll see. Okay. Okay. Stop. You keep raising your stop, but you don't just raise it willy nilly. You raise it to a level that you can identify on a shorter time frame than you enter the trade on. And you can see these same patterns that we're looking at on a daily, or even if I went to a monthly, okay, the same patterns happen on a 1 minute chart. Okay, so that's what you're using. You're using a shorter time frame to dictate levels in which you would exit from. Okay. how about MP Vermel?
And that's what I thought that's what I thought, that's why I
Michael
looked up,
Papa?
REMX.
Oh, here's, and this looks pretty good. This looks a little bit different. See, this is right at support. And if you look at this, let's just look back. Yeah, if you look at this as a potential cup and handle pattern, which again, those take too damn long for me to trade them. But if you look at that as a potential cup and handle pattern, which it is, then this should hold from here and it should break above the top side. I mean, I would not look, I don't trade this, but if I did, I wouldn't have a problem buying it at 50. Okay. Okay. XOP, X-ray Oscar Papa. Looks really good. Okay. Again, I said it last time. It looks really good. I mean, it's oil. And it basically, it did not get any damage near where the oil markets got damaged to. Okay.
It outperformed like crazy. APA is Apache. That
Yeah, Apache, we talked about that last week.
looks great. Yeah.
Looks great. $40, I'd look to be a buyer. Okay. We don't play them in our portfolios, but I would play them. Okay. I mean, there's only so much liquidity that I can use. And, again, I could continue to change stocks, but I just like to, find a group that gives me good liquidity. And, listen, I've traded everything. Okay. At one point or another, I've held a position in most of these stocks.
Victor Lima Oscar, Valero.
Valero Oil. Yeah.
Because that's a little different because it's refining.
Yeah. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
I mean, last week you said 100 and where's that still at 100?
Yeah.
Risk reward's a lot different than it was.
Used to like par for heating oil, PAR, Papa Alpha Romeo Romeo.
Take a look. Let's take a look at the chart. Yeah. There's stuff that looks better.
I mean,
I know. I mean, of all of them right now, the one I like and it has for the longest is Apache.
Yeah.
Apache's been in a great trend.
Okay. So I listen.
I was going to say, I do like natural, at this point, natural gas related stuff is a lot more sexy to me than oil related stuff because the oil related stuff made a big move.
Right. Remember, Friday is Easter. Okay. So there's no markets. So just be careful. Again, we're in extremely thin conditions. You want Amazon? Okay. I'll give you Amazon as my parting gift.
The
Alpha Michael Zulu November. I don't even know where this is at right now.
Bezos special.
I mean, they're splitting what, 20 for one?
something like that.
Okay. So, and well, Passover starts on Friday night. Okay. And Good Friday is Friday. Markets are closed. Okay. So again, for those of you who celebrate, happy Easter, happy Passover.
Holidays colliding.
What's that?
The holidays are colliding.
Yeah, well, they do. That's Passover and Easter always collide.
Well,
But anyways, so again, just be careful. The markets suck. The action is light, thin, and it's not conducive to being active or aggressive. Okay. I will tell you, I love to be aggressive. I will tell you when the green light, but this is not it. MTDR, I gotta look at one more because I see it one other place. I will look at one more. MTDR Matador, which looks pretty good.
what is it?
A resources company, I don't know. Looks pretty good. Whatever it is, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd be a buyer of this at 52 if I traded it. Okay. We must alternate between shame and guilt.
That's right.
I love it. Anyways, the recording will be a little bit late. Okay. Matador is bullish, yes. Okay. The report will be a little bit late because I got to run to the dentist. I cracked a tooth and I got a 4:00 appointment. It's 3:20. So in the meantime, everybody have a great week. I'll get this stuff out later. And good day for boy. My maple syrup is coming. All right, kids. Have a great week as
Happy
always.
birthday.
And I'll see somebody tomorrow and somebody tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, and of course on Saturday. But in the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Be careful and be disciplined.